Hey guys, it's me, Brianna, and welcome back to my Geekdom. It is our 911 Season 9 recap reaction. Now, I am filming this at night, so the glare in my glasses is a lot worse than normal. I do apologize, but the only ways for me to fix it that I know of involve me not being able to see at all, and I kind of need to do that. So I do apologize. But here we go. Let's get into finishing off this astronaut. I don't even want to say arc. I mean, let's finish off this Macronauts arc, okay? So, Season 9, Episode 4, Reentry. We are opening in the firehouse at the 118, and it is Buck and Harry, and they are assisting a guy with an injured knee when Buck asks Harry how he is doing, to which Harry replies, "I'm doing fine. I'd do better if people stopped asking me how I'm doing." Any of us who have been through anything ever, including just having a regular bad day, let alone the trauma of loss, like, we get this. This is something we fully understand. Just let me deal, and I will get back to you if I need something. So Bucks agrees and says, he's sorry. And in that moment, May passes by. She has got her boss pants on. She is telling people where to go. Ravi brings in 2 new volunteers. She sends them on their way. And then she goes to check in with Chimney and Eddie, who are assessing a woman, I think it was, who had a dislocated shoulder. And Chimney states that Eddie's going to pop it back in, no problem. To which Eddie replies, "You sure you don't want to handle this?" Like, I'm over Eddie's attitude. I'm done with it. This is episode 4 of Eddie having this weight on his shoulder. And we know that he gets like this from when he lost his wife and when he didn't have Buck to speak to. But again, everything that he went through in season 8 to get Chris back had shown so much growth. So I just feel like, especially after Chimney went to Eddie's house to apologize and they worked it out, that we should be done with this BS. Like, I'm over it. I don't like it anymore. So Karen and Maddie arrive at the fire station because there is nothing else to do. And when Chimney asks for an update, Maddie lets them know that Karen got Hen, Athena, and the rest of the Macronauts safely to the ISS. However, they no longer have contact with them because of the debris storm. NASA does not have a way to contact the ISS either. So it's legitimately just a waiting game. They did everything they possibly could. Karen was amazing, idea after idea, but now all they can do is wait, which is kind of nice because when they put a cap on that, it means that we are focusing the rest of the episode in space and we're doing flashbacks. So the thing that I liked the least about this overarching arc is in The Sky is Falling, they kept going back and forth, but never spending enough time. Like, they didn't need as many cuts as they made in the editing room. They could have spent just a fraction more or completed a scene without going firehouse, space, firehouse, accident. I didn't like that. But now we have a nice, clean-cut episode. This is... I kind of wish that instead of being entitled Reentry, it had been entitled, like, Athena Begins Anew, like they did with, because we had Athena Begins, which we will be referencing a lot throughout this episode. So, no, I think it was Hen. Hen had Hen Begins and Hen Begins Again. Or Bobby had it. Somebody had blank begins and blank begins again. So I wish that Athena had that too for this episode. It wasn't necessary. I just think with everything they're going to be doing in the flashbacks, it would have been just a nice title that we're used to. Anyways, that's just a side thing for me. Alright, so we are up. They have gotten onto the ship. Captain Stanton is letting them know what is happening and how often they've been hit by this debris field and that it's going to be happening again. And Athena makes the comment of they boarded a sinking ship, which I just thought was funny because of the sinking ship she's literally been on, and then on that crossover with the Joshua Jackson show, Dr. Odyssey, there we go. So she's been on a couple of ships. Yeah, it was just entertaining for me. So Captain Stanton is letting them know, yes, we have an escape pod. However, the astronaut whose corpse you found died because he was fixing the connector that needs to be loosened for the actual capsule to be released. And in doing so, Hen volunteers to go out and fix it, but you can see on Athena's face that she was about to volunteer herself. Hen just beat her by a hair. So this is when we get the flashback to 1998, and we have young Athena sitting in a diner. She is clearly working, but she's sitting there waiting for her partner, and she's playing with her necklace, which has her engagement ring on it from Emmett. So it's immediately setting up what we know as an audience, but to anyone who might not know or needed that reminder that she had somebody that she loved. She's wearing this ring around her neck. She's clearly thinking about them in this moment. So her partner McCluskey comes back from the restroom. It was cool to see him again. So that means he wasn't just her TO, and as that officer who gave the big long speech of, I don't have an issue with your color, I have an issue with you being a woman, but only because every female partner they've partnered me with has gotten engaged and left. So she got engaged, but she wasn't going to leave. Her fiance is murdered, she still didn't leave, and he remained her partner instead of moving on to train somebody new. And as they are having a little conversation about how cliche it is for him to eat donuts, the waitress walks by, and Athena asks for some cinnamon on her coffee and says, hey, you didn't give us the bill, when the waitress lets her know that the bill's already been taken care of, and points to an attractive man over in the corner, which, based on timing and the age of May and Harry, it is very easy to assume that the man in the corner is a young Michael. He comes over, he starts to flirt, she is annoyed and wants him gone, like she is not there at all, and McCluskey, he feels bad for this guy, you know, he wants, which is, again, very different from what the one other time that we saw this man, he wants Athena to be happy and to date and to go out in the world, when that is not who he was at the beginning. He has trust in her, they are friends, they have worked together for almost 8 years now, but this guy makes a real bad, he makes a mistake, like full on makes a mistake. And in his flirting, he says, oh, that must be why there's a ring missing from your finger. She gets up and says, it's really not. Like, ooh, my man, that is a hard... With how the episode ends, I just probably would not have gone back to find this guy myself. But also we'll get in more into why it makes sense that she does. So yeah, McCluskey says that it's been 7 years since Emmett's death. He's talking with Athena in the car. He wants her to be with someone. And she asks him why, and he says, it's self-interest, it's self-preservation. If you have something to live for, I'm more likely to make it home at the end of the day. Cue the red flags for anybody who has ever seen a cop movie. specifically movies over TV shows, unless it's the pilot of a TV show, you say that or you say I'm about to retire, you're gone. It's done. I'm sorry, my friend. Okay. So they are in the car, they're driving down the road, and suddenly a car swerves into the way. Athena moves to avoid it, and it turns out after they crash and this other car crashes as well, that they find out that the driver of the vehicle has been shot. So they work it out based on the angle of the shot, where this might have come from, and they head down the street to find a running armored vehicle parked outside of the bank. There are keys in the ignition, and there are armor-piercing bullets in the back. Athena grabs the keys out of the ignition, calls for backup, and McCluskey heads towards the building to see what's going on, where he spots 4 suspects and 15 hostages. Athena goes down, like it's a multi-level building, so she goes down to take cover, and McCluskey is level, but he's taking cover as well so they can watch the building. But when the suspects come out and they try to get into the vehicle, they find they cannot get it started. One of them goes back. He's heading towards the stairs. We assume that he's looking for keys or some hint as to what's happened. And he looks down the stairs where Athena is hiding, and McCluskey yells out, you're under arrest, stop. But in that moment, he gets shot. Now, in between space and the flashback, they did an interview, and now they're ending the flashback with another interview that we saw back in episode 2, where Athena is in her Macronauts uniform. And during that interview, in the first part, they asked what it's like to be a hero. And she says, I am no hero. I am just a working mom, same as anyone else, same as someone who's a waitress. I put on a uniform, I go to work. In this closing one, before they head back out to space, she says again, I'm no hero. I've worked with a few. The real heroes are the ones who don't make it home. Again, if you have ever seen a movie or TV show before, this is not looking good for McCluskey, except for now they're also going to transition back into space, and the first person that we see is Major Kern, the football coach and former astronaut. He's stripping the capsule because he has that knowledge and know-how, trying to make extra space because it seats 4 and there are 6 of them, one of whom is injured, that needs to get back down to Earth. Parker and Trisha are helping him. What they need to do is get it open. They're trying to lose weight for the weight that needs to go in. At this point, Athena asks Stratton about the astronaut who had passed away, and she says that he has 2 kids. He and his wife are trying to work it out. And then it skips back to that interviewer asking why she signed up. And she says that it's not about the danger, it's about helping people so that they feel safe every day. Okay. At the bank, there is now a full shootout happening. Athena has made her way over to McCluskey. He is on the ground. He's got a bullet wound to the gut, which a classic TV trope. Sometimes you live, sometimes you don't. Like, you see someone get stabbed in the gut, they could live, they could die. Same with a gunshot. You just don't know. However, it is not looking good for him at all. But she gets the idea. She's got the keys. She's going to get him to the armored truck, and they are going to drive out of there. That's how they're going to be safe. Back up in space, Trisha and Parker are talking as they're helping Hearn, and she's talking about how she's going to break up with Trip Hauser. He's done nothing for them. Every Valentine's Day, he gives her stock in the company. She's in fact a 1% owner of his company, and yet he doesn't even know what her star sign is. To which Parker replies that she is a Gemini. He knows because she said it a couple of times during their training. Let's assume that this training period, if I recall properly, from when episode 1 started to when they got sent into space, I think during the very original flashback, they said it was 1 week ago. So their training consisted of 3 days, maybe, give or take. So, Hen is, let's catch up here. Okay, so Hen's looking around for the suit, but Athena has already suited up, and Hen says that she's not going out there. And Athena is saying, you have a family to go home to. Her argument is that Denny and Mara are children, and that May and Harry are adults. They're 18 and 20 years old, or actually I think May might be a little bit older, but they're growing, they will move on. And she's saying, I'm being selfish, I can't lose anyone again. This is exactly what, or almost exactly what, Harry had expressed to Buck in the last episode. He cannot keep losing people. He has, though, technically only lost one person. Yes, his father and stepdad aren't there in the same state or country anymore. But for Athena, she lost the love of her life twice. She lost Emmett, she lost Bobby, and Michael, while her best friend and someone she did love, was not the same. That was not, I think in one of their arguments during the divorce back in season 1, he said, you know that this was a safety thing. This wasn't about love. You chose me as a safe option because you knew deep down. And this moment is hard because Hen is saying to Athena, she's not the only one that lost Bobby. They all did. And it's not fair for Hen to now have to watch Athena. If something happens to Athena out there, then she's going to feel like it's her fault. She brought her friend into space to try and get her out into the world, and instead she loses her. It is a very hard thing overall to watch. That's it. It's hard. These two actresses are so talented and so amazing, and you can see both of their perspectives. So now we hop back down to the interview, and the question is, has it been worth it? And Athena's answering, you do this job to make the world a safer place. I do this job. Like, it's gonna make me cry. This episode, I'm not playing. I still cannot believe sending them into space and making fun of Elon Musk would move up so high on my favorite disaster openers. Like, I just can't. But yeah, I do this job for my friends, my children, my husband, and I lost it. I just lost it. So Athena is out doing the spacewalk. She has to get to the corpse of that poor astronaut because he has a piece on him that they need. So she's able to make it to him, get the pin out of his pocket, except now more space debris is coming, and she does get, like, knocked back. She's not injured, but a tube from the back of the suit does get loosened, and she is losing something. So over the walkie-talkie, Stratton shouts out, to come back, we need to fix it. But Athena ignores it, and she climbs further out, but she's just a little bit short of being able to reach because now she is caught on something. The tether that's holding her to the space station is caught, and Stratton tells her to come back so that they can fix everything. But instead, Athena loosens it, and we do get this great moment of Stratton saying she doesn't do great with orders, and Hen responding with, she loves to give them. Like, it's a good moment. Then we are back to the bank robbery. Athena has gotten McCluskey into the back of the armored vehicle, but she gets shot in the leg and she can't make it to the front. It is too dangerous. This is full on Wild West in the middle of the streets in LA in 1998. So she climbs into the back with McCluskey. Now back in space, that Athena is losing O2. Hen can see it all on the gauges inside of the capsule. She's beginning to pass out. Now you go back down to the truck, back down into her memory, and her younger self, you find out, is the one doing this interview. So I'm sorry, again, this was emotional. I did watch the next episode 5 today as well, Dia de los Muertos, so that one, I'm feeling all the 911 feels, okay? I am Rachel in Friends my whole life when they go, Rachel cries about everything. She goes, no, I don't. She starts crying. Yeah, that's me. I'm an emotional baby and I know it. So Athena in space has passed out. She is speaking to herself. So the interviews that happened in episode 2 were real. They set it up to make us think that this is a part of the continuation of those interviews because Athena didn't speak a lot, so that portion was cut together really well. Like, they showed longer interviews with everybody else, but Athena's were very short. Like, why do you want to go to space? I don't know. Like, they were short. So this whole time has made a ton of sense. Hen uses the arm it's used to knock the capsule loose, but she uses it to knock Athena and get her back into place. And in the meantime, her younger self is telling her to just let go. Again, flashback. We have McCluskey holding on to his stomach, and he apologizes for not listening when Athena told him to wait. And for his funeral, he wants the whole deal. He wants all of it. The bagpipes, the parade. He wants the hero's goodbye. And for her to give a beautiful emotional speech. But when she's done, she walks away. And she should not come back to his grave. She needs to move on. She has to get rid of the ring. He knew she had it the whole time, and that she was supposed to learn from him and not become him. Which, again, we know from Athena Begins, a lot of these traits, her independence, her refusal to take a partner, come from McCluskey. She doesn't want to be a TO, even though I still think she did a really good job. I want to say it was in season 7. But this adds to that. This builds into her fiance was a cop. She lost him because he tried to do the right thing and stop a crime. She's losing McCluskey. He did his job. He tried to help and protect people and stop the bad guys from getting away. So, there is a monologue between Athena and her younger self that I will not even try to recapture because Angela Bassett is that good. Like, you cannot express somebody's talent like that. So please go and watch it. Though I assume if you're here, you have watched it and you know exactly what I am talking about. But basically, it ends with a moment where she says, "The pain is the price we pay for joy." And it is so true. I love everybody I have ever lost. And of course, I would love to see them again. But I would not be here. I would not have learned the things I have learned, met the people I have met, or enjoyed the things I have been enjoying without their loss. Which sounds terrible if you don't know what I mean. Do I want anyone to know what I mean? No. I hope you have your loved ones for as long as humanly possible. But it is a beautiful moment, and I truly applaud the writers once again for giving it to us, and for Angela Bassett to deliver it. As always, that woman is robbed of every award that's ever existed. But it comes down to now she wants to live. She went out into space with Hen yelling at her that Bobby is not out there. And in these moments of her losing O2 and seeing her younger self, and her younger self letting her know, asking, was all of this pain worth it? She does want to live. So she comes to enough. She finishes fixing what needs to be fixed, and Athena is able to get her back onto the ISS. Now, when they open up the capsule, they still only have 4 seats. But it is okay. Stanton needs to lay flat anyway. And as I'm sure Athena was going to do anyway. Actually, no, she looked more worried. But Kern is going to stay to operate the arm. He really is the only one with the official technical know-how who can safely stay in space to do this and to survive. So Stanton promotes him to commanding officer. Everybody gets on board, and he's able to knock them loose, and they begin their descent back to Earth. Now we get a glimpse of Trip, and he is giving another press conference, BSing his way through the whole thing, saying NASA has announced that all 5 macronauts are safely returning, and they saved Captain Stanton. So this has overall been a success. And somebody in the crowd goes, how'd you come up with this idea? And he's, oh, no, it wasn't me. Our whole team worked so hard. Fuck you, man. Is your name Karen? I did not think so. No. Screw you. You get everything you deserve. So now, in the actual firehouse, everybody is gathered again like they were back in episode 2 watching the launch. They are all gathered again in this makeshift ER in the fire station, watching as the capsule is returning to Earth. And inside of the capsule you see Trisha and Parker holding hands. Flashback, and Athena is in the hospital bed. She learns that she's getting a promotion, and that McCluskey, she says that all the credit goes to him except for he did not make it. And she's returned her engagement ring from Emmett. So the reentry is a success. They're still worried about the landing, but everybody makes it, and they break into laughter. from the stress and pure ridiculousness of this whole entire thing. And as the episode starts to come to an end, Hen and Karen are taking the kids home, and they send Denny and Mara off to bed. Karen looks around and goes, God, this place is a mess, which it is rare for their place to be a mess, except for while they were fostering and they had like a ton of kids at one time. I think it's Karen who's OCD, but it could be like in one of my aunt and uncle's relationship where everyone thinks it's my aunt, but in reality it's my uncle. So it could be like that. As per always, I would kill for Hen's sweater. It's so cute. It's green. It has bones on it. It's just real cute. I loved it. I want it. But they have a perfect moment, and Karen asks Hen, how does it feel to be an astronaut? And Hen asks Karen, how does it feel to be a hero? And again, with the tears, because Karen doesn't often get these hero moments. As in, next to never. We see her mainly in the home with the children or out on a date. Like, we got to see her really truly shine in the episodes where her the fire broke out, that explosion in her lab when she and Denny were in danger and she was injured. Like, such a great Karen episode. She got to shine there. So in a whole arc where they keep referring to them as everyday heroes, this was that moment for someone that we normally see, like I said, just in the mom role more than anything else, even more than in the wife role. So yes, absolutely everyday hero. So you get the news saying that the skies are clear, it is safe again, and they are referring this now to the Trip Hauser disaster. That man has lost everything. We get a shot of Cal and Lori minus her leg in the hospital watching the news. They are fine. They look happy for now. Issues don't just disappear because of one emergency. As they say in Speed, don't date people from the disaster you were in. So even though they were already together, things could still go sideways. But fingers crossed that it won't. Lewis is seen, so Kern is seen from the ISS. He's able to make contact again, and he's coaching his football team from space. Trisha has returned her engagement ring to Trip Hauser, and because of her stocks in the company, she's able to upset a vote, and now Parker is in charge of the company and Trip Hauser is broke as all get up. Back at Athena's house, Harry is making Athena and May some lattes or coffee, but he's working really hard and he serves them. They love it. It's amazing. He's really good at it. And Harry apologizes to Athena, and Athena apologizes to Harry and May for not being there while they were grieving too, because May says it's okay, you know, you were grieving, and Athena says yes, but you were grieving too. And that is, again, another hard thing for anyone who's lost somebody, is remembering in your grief the people around you who lost them too. So it is fair for what Athena went through, for the reaction that she had. But I love that they show her apologizing to her children. They need to talk about the future, and to the surprise of nobody, well, I guess except for Athena and May, Harry wants to be a firefighter. Now, it flashes back one more time, And the guy who was in the coffee shop trying to hit on Athena is leaving a construction site. He's trying to get into his car. It's not starting. And Athena pulls up, writes him up a ticket because he's officially been parked there for too long. I don't know, some BS thing. But yes, it turns out that it is indeed Michael Grant. And we get the beginning of their relationship. So, feelings on that. Poor Michael. Just setting aside the fact that he is gay and he wasn't sure and confident in who he was to be able to be out at that time in 1998. The only reason, we just saw an entire stacked up episode. In Athena Begins, right? McCluskey tells her he doesn't like female partners because they keep getting married. But she earns his respect. She and Emmett do get engaged. McCluskey has enough respect for her as a partner in person that this isn't the end of the world because she's going to continue to work. He is there with her when she loses him. They remain partners for the next 7 years. And his dying words to her are that she needs to move on. So Athena legitimately took the first life raft. The first buoy that was thrown her way. She said, great, I'm sticking to it. That is so terribly unhealthy and yet consistent with who Athena is. It makes so much sense, which again, when you flash back to season 1 and the fights that we had between Michael and Athena, and I think later on, when they're really able to be friends and talk openly about her relationship with Bobby, he's saying similar things to her about how you knew this wasn't a relationship that you wanted. She hid Emmett from Michael. He never knew. Bobby never knew about her first love and how he died. This is something Athena buried so deep down that it hurts as a fan to watch this flashback and this young Michael walking into something he's just gonna be screwed. She was so lucky that he did turn out to be as good and genuine a human as he did, even though he was hiding his sexuality. He was a good person. He was a good partner and a true friend to Athena. So if it had been she could have legit clung on to anybody. It could have been an asshole. It could have been an innocent guy who got his heart broken. Any number of things could have gone wrong. I just think, if you are a therapist, let me know your whole breakdown of what this means for Athena as a character, because it was intense. And it's just, to me, very sad when you really stop and break it down and think about all of the levels and everything that it includes. Having Buck and Harry getting along that way that they do, as I mentioned, the whole time it really felt like Buck was in that big brother role. They established incredibly well how much time that they spend together. Watching The Bachelor on Monday nights is still a crazy thing to me, but they have this relationship. Buck was able to get through to Harry in a way that others couldn't. There was no way Chimney was going to, because the only thing Chimney was seeing was keeping Bobby's son safe. That was it. He's thinking about, how do I keep everyone safe? And now Harry is out here and he is in danger too. What if I lose him? He's not thinking about the state that Harry was in with Athena in space and without Bobby there, and with May watching watching Denny and Mara. So it was really well done having Buck be that support for Harry. Putting Harry out in the field opens his eyes a bit more to see and remind him what Athena puts on the line and what Bobby puts on the line when they go out into the field and why they do it. Very well done. We got to see a billionaire get his just desserts. Thank you. Now, if it could happen in real life, that would be even better. I guess beggars can't be choosers, but fingers crossed. Yeah, that is all I have for this recap. Again, I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did. As a fan and being there and just being along for the ride for every crazy thing that they have ever done, for this to be the craziest and for it to be so successful in addressing the feelings of loss and helping these characters move forward, or at least show us if they haven't moved forward. Again, I'm over Eddie's attitude, but it's consistent with who he is. Buck trying to take care of Harry is such amazing character growth, and again, consistent with who he is. All of this stress, Athena shutting down, consistent. And seeing these flashbacks hurt. Like, it hurts a lot. The way that they have used things from across all of the seasons to justify this and make everything make sense shows a respect by the writers and that team for what this story is and for the fans. Bravo. Like, again, we have May coming back, taking control, being in charge. Hen trying to reach out and be supportive and be that person for Athena to lean on. We know, like, I legit, in one of my D&D games for my background, I made up a character and named her Mother Hen after Henrietta, because this is what she does. She tries to be supportive. She makes big ass mistakes, but she does everything she can to be there. Maddie in her element in the call center, but seeing Karen shine the way she did, I loved it. Across the board, 4 episodes deep, I am giving this arc, criticize me if you will, but I think this arc is a solid B, possibly leaning towards B+. So very well done. Alright, as always, thank you so much for visiting my Geekdom. Please check out my other videos and let me know if you want me to keep going forward with these 911 reactions and recaps. See you next time.